Know who you are so the world won't tell you who you are. That's on the back of the book for 24 Ways to Discover Self-Enlightenment. Because the world's going to tell you who you are. They're going to tell you who they think you should be. There's a stigma of me, who I'm supposed to be at 25 years old, where I grew up and where I should have been at a certain time. But what the world might tell you is not what you're supposed to truly be and who you are. And you have to figure that out.
This podcast is all about authentic conversations. It's all about growth, love, respect, success, mind, body, and spirit. If you're looking to grow and expand in your life and become your authentic self, this is the podcast for you. Hi, you guys. Welcome back to Authentic Talks. I'm excited to have you join me this week, and I'm excited to introduce this week's guest, and I hope that you guys enjoy the show. Please welcome this week's guest. He is a Prairie View A&M University grad. He earned his Bachelor's of Business Administration degree with a minor concentration in marketing. And during his time at the university, he developed a passion for becoming an author, a motivator, and a spiritual teacher. He also has a YouTube channel as well as a second book that he has published titled Post-Grad Depression. Please welcome author of 24 Ways to Discover Self-Enlightenment, Christopher King II. Hi, Chris.
How are you?
I'm good. Is it okay if I call you Chris or should I call you Christopher?
Whatever's easier.
You are an author. You are
I'm a recent graduate of Prairie View A&M University. I earned my bachelor's of Business Administration at the university while I was there. Just got inspired to writing and motivating and pushing people to be the best selves that they can be, and also work on myself as well. So that's what a lot of my works, publications, that's what they all consist of. So this is basically what I do.
So you were inspired to write. What is the name of the very first book you wrote?
24 Ways to Discover Self-Enlightenment. That book basically was the aftermath of me graduating school, basically just kind of putting all of the things that I've learned so far in life all together, all the life lessons, all of the things that got me to the point that I've gotten to be a first generation grad, my background, spiritually, and just being able to just put something together that I can also share with other people. Somebody, if people of all ages can relate to, something that gives people hope and to understand that how to go within and to be able to understand the importance of self-empowerment and self-enlightenment.
Let's back up a little bit. You said that
Okay.
you're a first generation grad?
Yes.
That's awesome. And what college was it that you attended?
Prairie View A&M University. It's a HBCU out in Prairie View, Texas.
Do you mind walking me through what that's like?
It's really awesome, and actually I think that I always say that it wasn't my first choice. I was originally supposed to go to Oklahoma State University in Stillwater, but this school was also like last minute on my list, and it ended up being a match made in heaven for me. I learned a lot about myself, and being able to be around people of your same background and same ethnicities, and then it's I always say this, I even have this on my Facebook page, but it's the importance of just Black excellence and things of that nature. You get to know history. It's a lot of stuff that I see personally for people of color. Like, it gives us more opportunities to be able to network. I have a lot of memories, a lot of good colleagues that I still keep in contact with today that are very important, and it's like a family atmosphere. Last year I didn't get a chance to go back for my for homecoming because I was working on my book, and it actually came around my 25th birthday, so I didn't get a chance to celebrate. So I look forward to going back and seeing my family, because that's what they are. They're like a second family to me when I go down there. So
Why wasn't that the first choice?
I really wanted to go to Oklahoma State. That's all I could say. And Prairie View wasn't on the list, and I probably wasn't looking at a historical Black college at the time, and maybe because of just me being small-minded or whatever, not understanding. But that's why it's just how things work. It's just how life works, and I feel like it was, like I said, it was divine by God for me to go to that school, because I ended up having a lot of hardships that I went through going through that process, and it was a lot of things that I had to learn. Like, my first time getting on campus was my move-in day. I got accepted a week before I got a chance to see the campus or anything. For 1 week, I got an acceptance letter, and then I was on the campus. I've never been on the campus before. I was 18, and from that point on until now to about 24 until now, like I've it's like I said, it was just fate that I was supposed to be there. That's all I could
Mm-hmm.
say.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
That's so cool. I have a son who's 16 who is already thinking about college, and he's
Right.
in a program where he's going around visiting colleges. It hadn't crossed my mind. That's why I was like, what was that experience like? Because I have a 16-year-old that I
Right.
know
It was
is.
new for my parents as well too. Me being the firstborn, so like we didn't have the perfect process either. We just kind of went with it, and I had a great supportive parents, my mom especially, and we just kind of went with it. And when things fell through with Stillwater, we went straight to Privy. Was already on the list already. We applied, so and they got it there, and it said Bachelor of Business Administration Management is what I have with a minor in concentration in marketing.
And so along your journey, something happened where you were like, you went through some experiences, and then you're
Right.
like, I need to write this book.
I figured that it was more of a things kept happening in the same way, and I had to understand, and I'm still going through that process. Well, where you have to learn how to be comfortable with losing, and I lost a lot. And when I say lose, it's not like a bad thing. I had to understand when you lose and you fail, that's just your first attempt at learning. So you have to understand that some of your experiences that happen to you don't define who you are, but they empower you to be better. When I was going to school, I struggled. Like I said, I'm a first generation grad. I had phone conversations with my mom my first year getting to school. She was like, you're gonna look back at this, you're gonna be graduating. I'm like, graduating, like, because I didn't want to even be there at one point. So it was like I had to get pep talked into that, and I had to redefine who I was and my work ethic. How I attack things, because I had to work hard to just get the minimum, and I struggled. When I got to college, I struggled a lot. I failed and I failed and I failed, and eventually something clicked in my head to where I had to understand that you got to go within. You got to constantly have confidence in yourself, and no matter how hard it gets, you got to understand that you have this motor inside you. If you just continue to move through the negativity, and you continue to work hard, and you continue to keep faith, and things will change. And that's kind of what happened. And after I graduated and went through those things, I had that same epiphany happen to me again once I got into trying to transition into a real world, looking for jobs, finding my purpose and what I wanted to do outside of school, you know. And it was a different transition stage. And then the light bulb hit. You're going through something right now. Once you write about it,
Mm.
once you document it. And I felt like me, I've always been a person who's tried to be as self aware as possible. And I've
Mm.
been, raised to be that way, and to understand what it is. As a man, I think we kind of forget how to um, articulate how we're feeling, and then channel it in the right way instead of running to substances or things to, cope with it. You need to be able to deal with it. And I've been taught that way. So I had to document. I felt it was better for me to start writing down how I felt. I love writing. I've always taken writing, different types of writing classes. I've done very well in writing classes. So writing is something that's therapeutic for me. And I started doing it more now since I'm outside of school. Um,
Mm-hmm. I love
so
that. I
right.
actually
So
love writing too, like journaling,
yes.
and it helps me so much, like with stress. And I love that. It's rare that you hear that. I mean, obviously there are male authors that exist in the world, so they,
Hmm.
they do write, but it's rare in my environment because my son, he takes really good notes and stuff like that, but I just run into a lot of people that don't like to write anything. When I say you should write it down in journal, it's like, what?
Right.
That's not my thing.
Right. My passion for writing started. Well, one, I like to read books. So when it comes to reading and research, I love doing that as well. But
Uh-oh. Hey, you
yeah,
touched another, there's another ding ding ding, me too.
exactly.
Yeah, I have like a big bookshelf, and I buy like so many books. I have books on the way right now, Chris, as we speak,
Wow. Wow. See, my mother used to take us to the. She was real fundamental on that. She wanted us to and be very articulate and be able to read and write and do stuff outside of school. So it was a lot of things. She used to give us books. I think for our birthday one time she just did a book that was personalized. It was like different stories. One was a Cinderella story for my sister and it had her name in it. Mine was a different story from the Bible. I think it was like Jesus and the 5 loaves of bread or whatever, and a miracle. And so it had
Mm-hmm.
my name in it, and I would read it. It was a book that I kept for a long time. Um, I've also gotten Harry Potter books. I read Oedipus Rex and the Odysseus.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Greek mythology book. I took a British literature class in high school before I graduated, and then before that, I was in a regular English class, and they was like, "No, you need to be in the AP class. You need to go and move to this class." So like things of that nature. I'm just being outside the box and understanding things a little more complicated readings and things of that nature that you would need to
Mm-hmm.
connotate and write different types of notes on and be able to recite them and know what you're reading. Stuff like British literature is hard to read. I think we read Beowulf one time. It helped mold who I am today. It really did. All of those different things. So I guess after college, I've always wanted to write a book. I've always said that to people. I said, you know what? I used to talk about people and my experiences, and they will always say, "Wow, you have an amazing story." And it's like I said, you know what? I'm gonna put it in the book. And so
Mm-hmm.
I kept saying that, and I was actually manifesting that as I was doing. And I was doing this throughout my later years in college. I just kept telling people, "That's all right. It's gonna be in the book." And I just say it every time. And so, okay, I'm gonna put it in the book. And then
Mm-hmm.
finally it hit me. I think it was right after my last job attempt. I had an interview, and I think I was taking my GMAT at the time too. I was trying to go into grad school and things of that nature, and I just hit a block. I was just like, I kind of asked God, I was like, I need direction because at this point I'm losing it. It was a turning point. He said, you need to open up that laptop and get to writing.
Mm. Oh, I
that's
love
that's
that.
what I that's what I heard, and I literally, my mom had walked in the room, and I looked at her and I said, I'm just going to write a book, and she looked at me and she's like, okay, and then I just started typing from there, and I couldn't stop. Every day I woke up, I had my laptop open, and I just wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote
Wow.
for months,
That's awesome.
sun up to sundown, and so that's how 24 Ways of Enlightenment came. It was something that it came natural for me. I didn't even really make a true outline for the book. That's
Mm-hmm.
how natural the book was for me.
That's like a super duper awesome story. I'm gonna post it to my Instagram and
I
like be
appreciate
like,
that.
here's my book. I got my book. You better get yours too. You mentioned you lost a lot. Can we talk a little bit more about that?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I took a lot of losses, whether it be friendships, relationships. I didn't lost people like family members, friends. I had a friend who he actually earned a couple of degrees, but he ended up passing away in May. I graduated in December, so I was going through summer school. We actually had to go to his wake, and his mom, throughout my actual graduation, she went and grabbed his degree for him. His name was the first name called, and she grabbed his degree. So like
Oh.
that kind of did something to me as well. Grades wise, yes, I failed classes. I've almost flunked out. I've hit the bottom. I've hit as low as you can hit, and I stayed. Like I said, I had help. I had a great structure around me. Like I said, my mom. In the grace of God, I was able to continue to keep staying there. Because like I said, I felt. I always say it's divine. It was my purpose to do this, and I had to own that. Once I owned it, I was able to. Okay, and I can take this algebra class 3 times. I think I'm gonna pass it this third time, and I'm actually believe it. I would
Mm-hmm.
have to register late because I'm on the academic probation period towards my grades had kind of slipped a little bit, and I'm trying to get it back up. And I went from that to seeing my grades go up to 3.0 status each semester, making a dean's list several times.
Wow.
I went from not being confident enough to going to be a part of groups and organizations to being the president of one organization and an e-board member of another. Um, it was like
Mm.
I was able to get my college of business jacket, and it's
Ah.
like the college of business students started the college of business at my school. They decided to give students who met the minimum requirements of core classes, they get jackets. Where I got mine at the end, it was like a dream of mine to get it, and so
Oh.
I got to do that, and my Instagram page shows that as well, and also graduation as well. I documented some of these things, but it was just like I could see the growth from where I was at first and to where I am now, and it was just like a lot of things. showed me that if you persevere, you can keep going. So like now I'm at this point where I'm outside of college and making moves for myself and focusing on the next chapter. The things that used to be as challenging are not as challenging anymore. I have more mental toughness, more insight on what to do and how to move and what happens when I get down or depressed about something. Where I can strengthen myself. And that's the whole thing when it comes to that. Yeah.
I absolutely love your story. As you were talking, I'm gonna be honest with you, I almost got like emotional. I'm
I hate to do
serious.
that to people, but yeah, I just
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I'm like, okay, what is this? Am I getting? I was like, oh dang, it's like freaking touching,
yeah,
like why just it makes me feel like
right,
proud, like and
right.
happy for you.
Yeah, it's a lot of cuts and turns. I mean, a lot of people I had to cut off. It was hard. I thought people were going to be around me for a while, and I had to deal with that as well. Girlfriends, different friends. I had to. When I think this is the whole purpose of the book as well, to understand it's about energy and about God elevating you to a certain level, and people can't come to your level. If they're not growing, if they're not able to, respect where you're going, then you have to leave them behind, and that can be hard. But then you got to understand there's something else better coming out of that. And I think that once
Mhm.
the faster you do it, the less time you waste. See, when you get attached to things and you let things bring you down, then you don't see the happiness. Then you see people win and you're miserable. Or is something happening to you, or you're getting drained energy wise, and it's like all of that stuff is in this book as well. Like I talk about all that and how to
Mhm.
get out of those things, like from the food you eat, from your mindset and how you're thinking. Like what you put in is what you get out. So you have to make sure you're feeding yourself the right things, make sure you're telling yourself the right things. If you're around negativity, you have to eliminate that or get away from it as fast as you can. It doesn't manifest anything good for you. So so it is what it is.
So 24 ways to discover self-enlightenment. Can you share
Mm-hmm.
with me at least 3 things from the book? 3 ways to discover self-enlightenment of the 24?
The first thing is being open-minded. For you to be able to understand that being enlightened is to have knowledge of self. The YouTuber that we got from the Divine Ones, she always would say, "Have knowledge of thyself." She always would say that, and I think that is true. You have to understand who you truly are, and sometimes that's outside your ego. Your ego is something that you know is fed when you get here, and I feel like if you are feeding the ego, then it's like an image. But who you truly are is what you do naturally. And sometimes people are not gonna like it. It's gonna feel uncomfortable for people, and that's what you need to stick with. You know what I'm saying? It's just who you truly are, what God made you to be. We have come here with jobs, and what is your soul purpose? When I say soul, I mean SOUL. So, like, what that is, you being intact with that. What your soul is telling you what to do. Your inner self. That's one of the things. Being open minded, just understanding that you can't change. You're supposed to be adaptable to new information, new things. We're constantly evolving as we get older, and I feel all the time if you're not constantly learning and getting better as a person as you grow, you should stop. Like you should stop living. If you're not trying to get better, you're not trying to keep knowledge. If you have the same mindset each year, each day, then I just feel like you're dead.
At that point, you're just bumping your head.
Exactly. So that's one for the open mindedness. Another one would be like positive affirmations. I don't understand how simple this could be to everybody. I don't know why people don't do this, but sometimes you have to wake up in the morning and tell yourself, hey, not like the simple stuff like I am great, I am happy, but like just saying like I'm gonna do this today, and it's something positive. Like I'm gonna be the best salesperson I can be today, or I'm gonna be the most positive person today, or I'm gonna show people love today, or I'm gonna make somebody's day better, or I'm gonna have a good day today. Anything simple as that. Positive affirmations, writing things down,
Mhm.
putting stuff on your mirror. Like I did that a lot, even when I wrote this book. Everything that I wrote in here is just about just making sure I studied on. So everything I wrote, I did, and I studied it as well. Affirmation on it because I didn't know what it was. I didn't know a name for it. So affirmations, positive affirmation would be another.
Positive affirmations, that's my thing. I have a
Right.
board in my room where I write affirmations on it. I say them before I go to bed every night. In
Mm-hmm.
the mornings, I do positive affirmations. Sometimes when I'm driving in my car on my way to work, I say positive affirmations, and I also tell myself that I love myself every single day. Someone said to me, "What? That's weird." I would never say that to myself. I will never
Right.
tell myself I love myself. I'm like, I feel it on the inside. I really do love myself. And it was something that I had to go through, like to learn, like to love myself, because I understand on a whole nother level what self love is and loving myself. So I'm okay. I can tell other people I love you. So why can't I tell myself that? So I
Right.
added, that's one of my affirmations. I say,
Right.
I tell myself I love myself.
And that's what it's all about. The last one I would leave is, I would say, like, seek inspiration, and motivation. I think I put those two together, and it just basically just kind of making sure that there's people that set examples, of how to do these lifestyles. Whoever the greats that have came before us, and that you can look at and be like, okay, they emulated the true power of understanding the self enlightenment and understanding self respect and knowing themselves and being divine, being called to do whatever their job is by God and this earth. There's so many different people, and I talk about a few people in my book. I was really inspired by Nipsey's passing, Nipsey Hussle. So like, he was somebody that I felt, from his mindset wise, I felt like a lot of things I could probably relate to, just simply just off of how he came from where he came from, but he changed his mindset to, at the end of his life, to kind of
Mm-hmm.
pattern something that was of something of purpose. And one of his
Mm-hmm.
songs in Victory Lap, he always say, if you don't find your purpose, then you're wasting air. I thought that's great to me, because I feel like if you don't have any purpose, then what are you doing here? Like, if you feel like you don't have a purpose here, then what are you doing here? And I don't think God
Mm-hmm.
makes mistakes. There's no coincidences. I don't believe in that.
You're right. There are no coincidences.
So that's the third one.
Self enlightenment.
Right. There's a simple definition, but until you get to know who you truly are and get to do the self work, is what I call it, your definition will be different. Everybody has a different spiritual walk, so I feel like it depends on how you truly view who you are, because there's levels. There's definitely levels. And so, and that's how I would put it. Like, the simplest definition would be knowledge of yourself, knowing who you are and what you're divine to be. And
Mm-hmm.
then the next thing would be to find out what that is, because you can tell somebody that and they be like, okay, all right. Well, they can believe, their ego can believe that there's something else, but there's something that you do naturally. And I actually talked about this on my YouTube channel. I made a video about people understanding that if you do something and it draws people in, and I'm not talking about anything negative, I'm just saying anything that you naturally do, like off of your aura, that is something that, what I'm saying, that's divine. You don't do that on purpose. It's not nothing you gotta dress up. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
it's I always say it's on you, it's in you. So it has to be internal, something inside. So,
Mm-hmm. I like that. It's not on you, it's in you.
because you can put on nice clothes and you can do stuff and try to get a certain attention, but it's not going to be the same if you're truly being yourself and who you are. And I've always been taught to be authentic and truly who I am. I just feel like it's cheaper for it to be that way. You don't have to dress anything up to naturally be who you are. You'll call people in that naturally are supposed to be in your circle or around you. You make connections like that way. It is what it is.
That is so true. You said you have two books
Yes, I do have two books. I published one right before New Year's.
right
Um,
before New Year's of this year.
right.
What's the name of that book?
This book is Post Grad Depression. A lot of
Uh-oh.
people don't understand the drawbacks, or I would call them withdrawals from college, because there's a big transition that college students have after they leave university and they come into the transition into the real world, and there's a lot of things that we miss, and a lot of things that we leaned on while we were in college that you no longer have. And then even if you try to go to grad school, it's not going to be the same as you were when you had a 4 year university, because now you're put in a position, you're going to be out there fully adulting and making moves and structuring your life for the next chapter. There's a lot of depression that comes with that, and it's not an official diagnosis. Nobody ever really talks about it, but there's a community of people who have kind of put things out there to let people know that it is real. So it's a form of depression, but it's not an official diagnosis. Is what it is, and that's what I
Mm-hmm.
speak about. I speak about all of the different ways that. Well, first I bring all the outcomes that have happened to me personally, and then I also jump in and kind of at the end of each chapter, I tell you how I overcame that or what you can do to overcome that. Whether that be filling up your schedule. Sometimes we get back. Some students go back home to their families or things of that nature, and they're kind of with people that in a circle that they don't have friends that are on the same level as them, or they got to find their way, or they move to totally different places and start jobs in other states and cities, or countries. Some people, and you have to know how to adapt to your environment again and kind of figure out who you are once again. It's a new, what would you call it? A new reinvention,
Journey.
right?
Or yeah, new journey, new adventure. You're
Right.
right. So when you graduated from college, what were your expectations?
Truly, I felt that I was getting a nice little, job and just go to school. That's really what I thought I was going to do because in college, that's what you're trained to do. Get out, they want you to hurry up and find, job fairs. At the job fair, they're pushing you to get your job and get on out of here. And that's what I thought that was going to be the end all be all for me. And then I found something totally big just by sitting down. So that was kind of the MO right there. I thought I was just gonna get out and just start working in 9 to 5 schedule and not working on projects like I'm doing now. I didn't see that. Now I'm an author.
You're an author. That is so awesome. There's a lot of people that will be graduating this year in
Right.
2020, and they're probably going to experience some of the same things that you experienced. And so it would be a good book for them to pick up, to have in their library that they're
Right.
starting.
Right.
And I think it's very relatable, where they'll be able to understand, like, okay, this is what he did and maybe I can try that, or this is what I could do, because everybody's experience is different, and it's just always awesome to have something to reference where someone else has gone through a
Exactly.
similar experience.
Exactly. And one thing about this is somebody can tell you. Like I've had colleagues who graduated before me, and they went through a process, and it's cool. You can look at it, and while you're going through it, you're still focusing on you and trying to set things up. But like I said, it's just like with the question about knowing what self enlightenment is. The definition will change. Well, the experience will be different too for everybody. So they can tell you all day what it is, but until you get out there, it's different. And once you get out there, it's going to hit you, and you're going to need something to grab. That's something I feel that somebody can flip through, and then you find whatever you find in there and highlight it, take notes on it, and it's supposed to keep you where you need to be. And I think it works because I have kind of already kind of had conversations. I mentor a few people that's back at the university right now. They're leaving school, some in the spring and some in the summer and the fall session. So, and then there's some that's still going through the process, and they've graduated, months before I did. In the spring, I graduated in the fall of 2018. So some graduated in the spring and still trying to figure that process out. So sometimes the process is longer. It depends on the person and what they got going, and if they have all the resources they need. And I feel this book is something as well that they can hold on to for
Hmm.
comfort.
So if someone was interested in buying the book, where can they find the book?
The book is on Amazon. You can pretty much type my whole name in, which is Christopher King the Second, Christopher, and then King, and then the second with the two I's, two capital I's, and then you can type in post grad depression. It'll come up. The same thing with 24 ways of enlightenment. You can type in 24 ways of enlightenment. It'll pop up with the ebook and the paperback. Both are ebook and paperback available. Free on Kindle unlimited as well.
You said that you were on Instagram as well.
I am on Instagram, Mr. SMR, lowercase mr, dot, like a period, and then King, and then II. So Mr. Dot
King the
King the second.
Okay,
It's two
got it.
I's,
Okay.
lowercase I's. Everything is lowercase, and then that dot. Don't forget the dot.
Okay, got it. Are you still in Texas right now?
I am still in Texas. I took my GMAT the first time. I did a prep class, and I do plan on going back as well. I think it's a goal of mine. But I have a different mindset than I had months before, and it was just like, when you're doing something with a purpose, I feel like it's a little better, and I feel like that's just how it's gonna go for me. Every time I have more of a purpose behind something, and I have more of a direction, I'm able to go back and collect myself and go. Because at first it was a comfort thing. You know, you ready to do something with your time and get active again. Now I'm ready to go grab this and mentally and it's ready. So that's the plans there. It's a lot of the projects jumping off the ground, like I said, out the YouTube.
What's the name of your YouTube channel?
Chris King, CHRIS, and then KING. That's a capital C and then a capital K and then capital two capital I's on YouTube.
24 Ways to Discover Enlightenment. And then we have Post Grad Depression.
Right.
Both of those books are on Amazon. When you decided to write your book because of the journey that you had experienced, was that when
Right.
you went through like spiritual enlightenment also, or a spiritual awakening, or
I would say so, and that's when I said I had kind of, like this is I kind of asked God for direction because I was kind of in a point where I was just very just down. I didn't understand what was going on in my life at the time, and it was just like I don't know what to do. I don't know the direction. I'm very frustrated, and I hate it here. Like basically, just I hate it down here. Help me. Like literally, I was literally down. I just remember I went to sleep, and months later, it came slowly. After I figured out, like, look, like I said, I took my GMAT. I was very upset. I didn't like what I got on it. I studied for it. I took the prep class. I didn't like it. I didn't like how I was going because I was like, I don't feel like I'm getting better. And then that's when I decided to scrap everything. That's just what it was. And the book came into my head, and I would call it a download. So that's really what happened. And yes, I went through a big process, and I actually went through all the emotions writing my first book because it was like I started writing things, and I was scared a little bit about some of the things that I wrote in the book, and I actually said I should stop. I don't want to write it anymore because I feel like I'm saying too much, or I don't feel like it was a lot of different inner conflicts that I had just doing what I'm doing now, and it was brave for me to even post a book and do all that stuff. It was really uncomfortable for me to do. I've never done that before. But yes, I would
when
say
you say when you posted the book, what do you mean, like on social media or?
I did a little marketing on social media, Instagram, Facebook. I allowed people to every social media platform, Snapchat, little things like that, because people didn't know what I was doing after school. And I kind of went on like I stayed low key and just worked on projects and stuff of that nature. So when I came out with the title and everything else, just pushing it out to the public, even putting it on Amazon was a big thing for me. Because I'm like, wow, there's no turning back now.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna take it off.
Leave it there. That would be no reason to remove it.
Exactly.
I say keep doing you.
Right.
The journey that we go through helps us to shape into the person who we are supposed to be. I love that you wrote a book and that you stepped out of your comfort zone and posted it to social media and did your marketing. And
I have a third project working right now. It's kind of already complete. I already sent mine in, but I'm a contributor on this project, and it was just something to kind of have my name out there and to add to my portfolio, like you're saying. And it's called the HBCU Experience Volume 2. And it's a guy out in California. His name is Chris as well, Chris Carhart. He came up with it. He's a great guy. He wants to get a bunch of people from HBCUs and share an experience that they had in undergrad at their HBCU. I was chosen. I was selected. So my essay will be in there, and then my name will be in that part and picture. And that's 3 books. And I started writing in like July, August. So
wow, July, August of last year,
right.
and you already have 2 books.
Right, two books I did by myself, and the third is just I'm a part of because I have my essay in that book too.
That's pretty good. For all who are graduating this year in 2020 and in 2021, what would you say to them?
I would say this: if you look at things a certain way, it's going to be perceived that. My whole thing about college, though, one thing that I did notice, without all of the career opportunities or anything of that nature, I found beneficial is the networking. The people that I've gotten to bump shoulders with, that I know they're out here making moves and they're not just focused on just working for anybody or doing things. I got found that as a plus Just like with some of these, the big time entrepreneurs you can think of, they didn't graduate. Some of them didn't graduate. They just got there and rubbed shoulders with some people and they started something. So it's like it's how you take it. If you go there for just trying to find a job, then you're gonna probably find a job, but it's probably not gonna be sometimes what you want, or sometimes you get lucky. Depends on what field you're in. But I would say the network experience and the people that you're around, the opportunities that you have, is a plus because that's the only time you're going to be around people that are doing the same thing that you're doing around the same ages. Majority. Now you might have some that come back or whatever, but I'm saying just majority. That's the only time. And once you leave there, I would, they say high school you're not going to find your forever friends. I only have a few people, or probably one really truly I can call my forever friend from high school, but I have friends and family that are from my university that I can still call up today, and if I wanted to start a business up today, I can tell them to come on, and they can do the same for me. And that's the whole purpose of, I feel, of college to me, because you can gain all the knowledge you can, and you can pick and choose things that you see and use it for your self betterment. I feel.
That's awesome. And I've heard that before too, that like it's college where you find your forever friends.
Right.
What is the process like of writing a book?
I jumped on my Google Doc, and the first thing I typed was the title. I changed the title so many different times. That was the first thing I worked on, and then the synopsis. My first introduction is what I kind of started working on, and then I stopped, and I said, you know what? Let me just type the chapters because I want to talk about all the different stages of things that I went through, and where I want to touch on, like forwards and like exercise and what to eat, daily exercise, the power of that. It was times where, I would be depressed and stuck in my room. I would get homesick. Things would get down on me, and I would find ways to, go to the gym or work out or stuff like that. And that helps your mind. I had this obsession with like going to the gym and getting on the treadmill, and there were healthy places to eat on campus. I started trying to eat a little better to feed my mind better. I had this obsession with push-ups. I would do like 100 a day, sometimes 200, and then
Wow.
have a partner. I had a workout partner, one of my close friends, and we would work out together all the time, and keep each other up to date on just staying in shape and staying healthy and being positive. I was around positive people. I changed my circle. I got around people who were going in the same direction I was going, and most of them, for the first time in my college career, I saw people who had the same major as me. And I think that's important as well if you're around people who are going in that same direction. And that for the first time I seen that as well. So it was like a lot of different processes that went into that. So I broke those things in the book. Like some of my friends, they was like, a lot of this stuff you talking about, we had conversations about, or we didn't did. I'm like, yes, of course. I said, like I told them, it's gonna be in the book. So I'm gonna write it down in the book. And he was like, yeah. So it's like it's nothing different. You really just telling your story, and it was really authentic. That's why it happened so fast. The book was
Mm-hmm.
really done in September. If I want to be honest, I just wanted my first book to be as big as possible, and I just wanted to get it to flow. And it was
Yeah.
something, I think it's an easy read. I think it's simple for you to go through and pick at. I think you can go through and start highlighting. One of the things that caught me is one of my friends had posted a Snapchat of my book. He had underlined a line in my book, and this was last Sunday. And it really just opened my eyes because I was like, I really wrote that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it really motivated me because sometimes I forget about that, sometimes. And I was like, I really wrote that. And it was like a line, I think it said escape the matrix or something like that. I think that was a good line for him to kind of highlight right before that, because I
Mm.
had found myself getting to that same situation because we all human and it happens. And I had to quickly get up out of that, and that was something to look back on when I seen it. So I was actually on the phone. I have talks with my one of my close friends from college, and we kind of check in on each other. And he would just kind of, chit chatting with me. I think he just left church, and I got a message from one of my friends, and I opened it after I got off the phone with him. And this is really what I would call an ironic thing, but he was asking me how I was doing. And I said I'm blessed, and he said, why are you blessed? And he said, because you woke up this morning. It stuck with me, and I'm kind of on that thing where I kind of, when people say stuff, I feel like I catch the ends of people's sentences. I don't know what
Mm-hmm.
that is sometimes, but it can be my intuition picking up on something. So anyway, I got off my phone, I checked news, turned on the TV, and I was getting ready to watch the Pro Bowl, and I sat down and I seen the news, and I was very, it got to me. And then they said the daughter was involved, and the other seven other families. There was seven other members on the plane that were on the plane
Mm-hmm.
with them, and I was just like, wow. And I just could tell that the world had stopped. It's very sad. I want to make sure I say
Yeah.
that's very sad situation. And I
Yes.
said, but I want to make
Absolutely.
sure I make this time to whoever calls me. I want them to understand that they're going to be feeling better after they get off this phone call. If they don't get it from anybody else, it was a sad thing, and I'm also something that I always think about is the mama mentality. So I'm gonna incorporate that into my daily life is to continue to push that. It's like Nipsey was saying about defining your purpose or you're wasting there. I look at the mama mentality. And this is a guy that said he didn't want to waste a day or a moment. So we should use that as well to keep pushing.
Yeah, that one, it really was sad.
I limit on how much time I look at the news or TV in general. If it's not something that I can get information from or not a good story or something, can't resonate, like you say, it's like me, I consider what you're feeling and how you feel about protecting your energy is like being an empath. And that's what I kind of associate myself with as being an empath. Like I'm around certain energies. I don't even like touching people. If I feel like you're people, we have an aura that comes off of us that's radiating. If you're inclined and you're up vibrationally, you can feel like you can walk in the room, like you say, you can feel tension in the room, or you can
Oh,
feel
yes, indeed.
people wear their problems on them outside externally. You can't see it, but if you're in tune with yourself, you can see it. And it's like, oh, I don't know if I want to touch. Oh, I don't know if I want to give you a handshake. I'm not sure if I want to transfer the energy. I'm gonna feel down in a minute if I touch you. Or
Yeah.
why do I feel off right now? And that's what the problem be. And I have to be conscientious of that, or how I do things, or what I put myself around, or what I listen to. It's all those things. So yeah, I would categorize that as being an empath. That's what
Mm-hmm.
I had looked that up and I seen that. I'm like, okay, then that's what it is. I actually have a story where it was like I logged on to Twitter one time and there was a Twitter ad and it was for Apple. When you go to your discovery page on Twitter, it shows Apple. Well, instead of it saying Apple, it said 1111. I rubbed my eyes and I looked at it again. It said 1111. I closed out of it and exited and got back in it and it went away and it was back to the ad.
That's
See,
like you're
and
being
that's
communicated with.
like even when I pray, like I allow, what I'm saying, because I know that God has helpers and He has people to help you out, and I always pray with those things, allow me, and to be able to relay what I'm supposed to do and put me on the right path I'm supposed to go. Those things are communicated throughout the day constantly. I can be going through some and I can see something, and it'll be one of those things, and it's a coincidence, and I actually get frustrated when I see it because I'll be like, why? What are
No,
you,
don't get
what's
frustrated.
going on?
If you don't know what it means, take a moment. Just take a moment and just say thank you and acknowledge that you see it. Ask, what is it that you want me to know?
And that's what I've
Because
been starting to learn to do.
yes, yes, that's what.
Angel numbers, right?
Yeah,
They
angel.
have so many different definitions of it. That's the crazy part about it. Some people, might see it as like a um, go back and restructure yourself. Like all of them kind of says like you got to go back and redefine something, or go back and look at something, or it's time to start on something new, or it can be
Yeah.
weird.
I think you have to look within and see what does it mean to what am I thinking about at that moment?
Right.
What is it like? It's probably it means something different to all of us.
Can be communicated with from God by God with anything, and what's in this, what you call it, the earth, universe, whatever you want to call it. It works. It's a system, whether we
Yeah.
understand it or not, and it's bigger than us. We are nothing compared to this system, and that's what I actually text one of my close friends. I had a conversation with him, and that's one of the things he said. We got off the phone, and a lot of things were sticking with me that he had said to me, and I said, man, I just want to tell you like that was probably one of the best phone calls I had in a while, and I appreciate you for that, and the things we're doing. And he was like, man, it's like divine. He was basically saying a lot of stuff was divine in what we're trying to do. Kind of come from similar backgrounds, grew up together as kids, and we're making moves as well as ourselves as young men. And he was like, it's bigger than us. And I said, you hit it right on the nail. It's bigger than us. We left the phone call like that. We're nothing compared to the moves that are being made above us and are around us that we can't see. It's a great thing to know.
It is. Wow, you actually still have a friend that was your friend since you were a kid?
Right. We actually was in kindergarten together, and this is why I say that it's also another divine friendship. We was in kindergarten together, And then we reunited again in middle school. And he was like, I said, I know you from somewhere. I went to his house and we ended up having the same picture from kindergarten. I said, that's me right there. He showed his mom, and we have been friends since. And we haven't seen each other in a long time, but it's like my friends, like I don't have to be around them all the time, but we can just call each other and lift each other up. And that's what I've been so fortunate to have people that's around my age, and men as well, who are just able to bounce things off each other and keep each other on the right path. There's no jealousy, envy, or anything of that nature. It's all good natured. If you can't, I feel that if I can't help you and you can't help me, we don't need to hit each other up. And if it's a good situation, then I don't have any problem with talking to you or answering the phone when you call or calling me. This book is going to put people in the same, in that mindset, because it's going to tell you what you need to be searching and seeking for in life. And if you're always seeking good and you're always seeking putting in good things, and the result is going to be that way too. 24 ways to enlightenment.
24 ways to discover self-enlightenment. All right. I think that's pretty awesome that you actually have a friend from the time in kindergarten. Do you know friendships nowadays are hard to form? And that's when you know it's a real friendship, because they don't have to be babysat. You don't have to sit up there like, I gotta call you every day. No, you don't need to call me every day. Like we're cool. When you meet good people, you gotta hold on to them.
Exactly. I always say this all the time. There's a lot of things that I want to incorporate in the communities around me, just to understand the power of brotherhood as well, because a lot of people don't understand the meaning of having authentic friendships or relationships or things of that nature. And I have a lot of good brothers around me. I consider them brothers. I don't have any blood brothers, but I consider those people brothers, until they show me otherwise. But other than that, I haven't seen anything. And from what I see good people who are trying to feed into each other, and I think that's how we should be growing in our communities as well. So
I like that. Oftentimes we hear a lot of the negative stories, and it's rare that we're able to hear, like, from the bright side of things, the good stories, and how there's a lot of good brothers out there and so that's kind of cool. I like that.
and my thing is like a lot of people kind of give also positive people a bad notion of forwards, and it's a negative outlook of how people feel like, oh, you're always positive, and that's not always the case. It's like you're seeking to be positive, you're seeking positivity out of life, and you're just going to continue to persevere. It doesn't like we don't have bad days, we don't get angry, we don't get upset. It's what are you doing to get past that? Are you still just going to stay in that or live in that? How do you get to it? If I get upset or something happens, I lose my cool, I find a way to get to my dumbbells, or I get to my either my journal, or I pray, or I go somewhere and work out. Trying to be positive, or it's just ways of that. And having examples of that around you helps as well. I've learned from people too. I didn't get this just from sitting there watching myself go through stuff and not have it. I had to watch people deal with different situations, and okay, this brother dealt with that differently. He handled that out, and I actually tell him, I like how you did that. I admire that. I'm like, okay, I like how you did this and handled this situation. You see how it's a domino effect.
I like that. I have been around people who I have heard say she or he is so fake. They're always acting like they're so positive and happy, and
Right.
that everything is all good. And
Right.
I feel like that comes from a place of jealousy, because they want to obtain that and they don't know how.
Insecurity.
Yeah, insecurity. And it's like they don't understand that, like you said, it's a choice that we make every day. We set an intention to, we could sit up and go, I need more money. This is wrong. That's wrong. This is wrong. That. But no, it's like, so I'm in a place of living my life from a state of gratitude, especially like when you hear things about what happened, like with Kobe Bryant.
Right.
The power of now. It's like, yeah, we're going to live our life each day and live for the future, but what am I doing right now?
See, living in the present is also important for people to understand reality and how to also channel what you need to do going forward. And living in the present and owning what that is can do so much for you. That's what I had to do, and that's why I'm here today talking with you. So I think that's important. I like what you said there. I just want to leave with, like, get out your own way. That was something that my grandfather used to say to me all the time. He actually, before he got sick, we had a one phone call and he was able to say it. And I asked him to repeat it for me. And it was one of those things where I heard it at the last minute. He said, Chris, get out your own way. Because I was trying to graduate, get out of college, and He would always repeat that to me. I always remember that in the back of my head. But it was something sentimental to me. So it's something that somebody said, especially somebody to his nature, somebody I looked up to as a man. That was a quote that I'm gonna always remember. Get out your own way. I say it to
Mm.
myself all the time when I start overthinking, when I get conflict. I will leave people with that notion. If you struggle with any mental conflict, any inner conflict, get out your own way. Another one would be know who you are so the world won't tell you who you are. That's on the back of the book for 24 Ways to Discover Self Enlightenment. Because the world's going to tell
Oh.
you who you are. They're going to tell you who they think you should be. There's a stigma of me, who I'm supposed to be at 25 years old after I left college. There was a stigma with me from where I grew up and where I should have been at a certain time. But what the world might tell you is not what you're supposed to truly be and who you are, and you have to figure that out.
Oh,
Those are the two quotes.
I love it. I actually enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you. I enjoyed the same.
Before we end the show, I have to find out what you know and your understanding about manifesting, in your opinion.
Something that you desired, right? You wouldn't put it on the pedestal. You kind of channel your way into already saying you have that. You're already complete, and then it would come to you. That's how it works. That's the true definition of manifestation. A lot of
It,
people don't understand that part. That's how it should work. It's literally how life should work, and then the world will be a better place. And I feel like this is the year that we'll start seeing people doing that. So I just been seeing that a lot.
mm-hmm.
Slowly and slowly, we're seeing a lot of people kind of wake up to that mindset and that type of way of lifestyle, and to truly not be out here for trying to get over and exploit people to get where they need to be. And we
Mm-hmm.
just have a new type of shift towards happiness and joy and helping people, and just teamwork, team building, and good energy. And I feel like we're getting around it with all of the bad that's going around. I feel like we're heading into that direction.
Now, I know we talked about this earlier about depression or like when you're feeling low and picking yourself back up. Can you share in a little more detail your point of view on that?
I can wake up happy, and then I start going down low, and then I have to get myself up to in the middle, and that just it is what it is. I don't know what the energy around you
Mm-hmm.
be, but it's one of those things, and it's kind of normal to me now. I don't even sometimes call it. Well, I don't like to say depressed all the time because I give it too much energy by even
Yeah,
saying that,
exactly. I
because
agree.
when you're depressed, it makes you kind of feel like this low vibrational person, and that's not who you truly are. I don't want to call it that. And
Mm-hmm.
so I don't like to give it that much power. But I do agree with people, yeah, having those things. I experience them, but I don't really call them out. You won't see me on social media.
I started thinking like people that are going through a spiritual awakening or their spiritual journey, they're often depressed. And so I had left that in the back of my mind. Yeah, so I started getting kind of discouraged. Like, oh, wait a minute, I got to be careful, make sure I'm protecting my energy and because I
Right,
started seeing people posting a lot of stuff about being depressed and stuff. And I was like, okay, I go through moments where I feel up and I feel down, but I don't allow it to like get in the way,
right,
you know?
exactly. You don't let it consume you.
Yeah.
hmm I had to
Uh,
limit my time on social media just because of that. I used to have that problem. I had that problem even with the post grad depression. You'll start seeing people who are taking jobs, or they're starting their lives and families and stuff, and you're going in this direction, and you don't know where it might lead to. And if you're constantly on those platforms, it's made for you to do that, for you to put yourself up to a certain level and compare. And you need to,
mm-hmm.
and that's where that energy draining is coming from, and that's where that depression or anything of that nature. And you would like to cut that out and stop limiting what you're doing. So that's why I'm constantly on YouTube or something, looking at something educational or inspiring, or reading something inspiring, writing in my journal, listening to music, and like listening to my favorite artists. Or if I feel like there's something that's calling me to listen to a certain song just to hear the lyrics, I just want to hear what he said. This person said this in this song. That means something. Okay, let me write this down. Maybe it's something I need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Little stuff like that. Just constantly being inspired. Put yourself in
Yeah.
a position to constantly be inspired, and that's kind of how I do it, to where I avoid being on those platforms all the time. Like I'll spend hours not even trying to get on those platforms, and then if I go on there, it's because of my choosing. And if I start feeling like, okay, well, this is a little too much, get off.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I spend a lot of time on YouTube myself, more than I
hmm
do regular TV. I do watch Power. which is that last season. So I'm not one of those people that's completely disconnected. You know how they talk about get out of the matrix? I'm in the matrix because I got to go to work every day. And I do hear people talking about like, oh, getting off the grid. Hey, that's not doesn't work for
Yeah.
everybody.
And I'm gonna be real with you. I mean, not to cut you off. I'm just saying, like, that is a. I think people trying to take things to experience. This is an experience here. So we gotta understand that we still have to live our lives. It's about
Mhm.
not letting things control you. That's all it is. Once you have the balance, then you don't have to go to the extreme, get off somewhere and live in a farm, in the farmland, and don't consume it. Like, and I ain't gonna lie, when you go through your awakening process, you kind of feel like that at first. You do kind of feel like that, like, wow, everything is, and then you'll start figuring out, okay, now I can chill. Let's just get to the middle. Let's find balance. Now it's all about balance to me.
Oh my
You know,
gosh, you said that. That is amazing. That's true.
yeah,
That's what it is. It is about balance. There's
it's all
people who
about
are,
balance.
yes, that's real.
And that
That
keeps you from being too hard on yourself. That keeps you from being judgmental of other people as much. It keeps you from being um, so closed off to things. It keeps you open. When you're balanced, it's like, okay, well, okay, I did this time. Well, I need to work on this time. And it's a constant working on yourself and getting to a point, but also knowing like you're a human. So you're gonna have experiences. You're gonna see things, and you can't just close yourself off to life. You can't do
yeah,
that. I mean, it is what it is. You come here for the experience. That's why you're here,
exactly.
and you live and you touch people and you do as much as you can until it's that's it. Um, you know, I think people make life harder than what it is, and I think I've made it harder in my younger years, but
Well,
definitely
then,
not going off the grid though.
no, like for me, I feel like that is like the extreme.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly,
because the reality
exactly.
is, Christopher, we all need money to survive. We
You
need
have
money
to.
so we could pay our bills. We need money to put gas in a car. We need money to eat. If you decide right now that you want to get up and go get a burger or some french fries or whatever it is that you enjoy eating, you know that you need to have money in order to do that. So
It's a material world.
they're like, "Oh, work for yourself." That's amazing, and I am so happy. And my hats goes off to those who have started those businesses and they're successful with them. That is amazing, and like we do all have that ability to do that. It's all about timing,
Right.
and everybody has a different purpose. Maybe
And who says you can't do both? Like do a little
exactly.
something and have assets and stuff coming in, but you can still have something that's flowing and that you can do. And it's
Mm-hmm.
always to do it. I think people just, like I said, there is extremists when they do stuff, and there's a lot of people who are like, I'm not a vegan, and there's like a whole culture of people who are strongly going vegan or pescatarian or doing certain things, and I'm just like, at this point, I'm like, what is the best food I can eat that helps me, and I'm not gonna try to overdo it. You know what I'm saying? I haven't
Mm-hmm.
gotten to that point yet, so I'm not gonna force myself to get to that point now. Maybe when I'm older and I get to a point, I'm blessed to a point where, okay, I can change my mindset. I don't have to be like this anymore. But that's how you evolve. But when you first starting out something, you don't have to just go extreme and, oh, well, you don't need to be doing this. You calling yourself this, so you don't need to do this. And it's
Mm-hmm.
however your life flows.
I don't
Mm-hmm.
think those people went off the grid because if they went off the grid, why are you on social media typing that? How do you know about this YouTuber? You ain't off the grid. You still on the grid and you are still in the matrix. Because if you're
Exactly.
not in the matrix, honestly, then the people making the videos talking about get out this matrix. Well, if I get out the matrix, I won't even be watching you.
Exactly.
That's what
Like
I
even me,
feel.
when I pick my YouTube topics, I try to tread lightly on. I don't like to and I don't really have as many views. I just started my channel in November. I just truly just speak from the heart. I try not to copy because I see a lot of people doing that. They're copying each other topics and they're saying the same things over and over again.
Yeah, I
And I just
noticed
try
that
to go off
too.
of more of a positive aspect of like things that you can do to help yourself. And I'm just gonna stick on that. I'm not gonna talk about. I've said some of those things in my book, but it was the way I said it. It was like limit some of the things
Mm-hmm.
you're doing, like living a minimalistic life, like not trying to feel like you need more things. You know what I'm saying in your
Mm-hmm.
life. Everything you have has to serve a purpose. So if you have four shirts, then those four shirts serve a purpose. They're four different
Mm-hmm.
shirts, four different pants. But have a closet full of clothes and you're not wearing any of them, then that's, you know what I'm saying. That's like a matrix mindset, and it's not minimalistic, and they don't serve a purpose for you. They're just holding up space. And those are the things I really trying to get people to understand more of those things. Everything has to have a purpose and serve its purpose.
Back to what you were saying about like everybody saying the same thing. I noticed that too. I noticed that a lot of the YouTubers, they take each other's information, and want to hear something that's crazy.
What's that?
And when someone takes someone's information and then they put it to their YouTube, but then they get more views or
Hmm.
more interaction than the person who originated it.
Yeah, it's not a place. I don't. It doesn't go off of originality, and it's like it's really hard to kind of, like I said, the true ones. They just have to kind of like take it and continue to build their fan base up because it's really hard. Because I have seen that. I've seen people who will attack the other person and then get them to switch sides and they tell different stuff. So it can get really, really, really
Hmm.
messy.
You could
Yeah.
tell though the difference where
I,
or
I actually
whatever.
seen I actually seen one of my videos. I talked about something and didn't get that many likes, and the person was following me. Now I don't know if they unsubscribed or not, but I can't remember. But I could see like a certain number of people who have subscribed and show who you are. The young
Mm-hmm.
lady took the video, but she had more of a following, so she used said the same thing I was saying, but she kind of tried to change it up a little bit. And I was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
cool. I didn't think none of it. I didn't really get mad or nothing. I just looked at it and seen, wow, like she was able to get more of a push off of something I had said already,
If you're gonna talk about something, talk about it from your perspective and your experience, but don't take somebody else's stuff.
and I could tell that the person didn't know what was going on because it was the way they were talking. It was like they were trying to remember something. And like even when I start my channel, I don't have a script or anything. So yeah, it's gonna be off the top of the head, but it's not going to be in the form of, oh, I'm trying to figure out what this person said. And I could tell that
Mm-hmm.
that person was mimicking what I was saying. Instead of them saying 10 things to do in 2020, she did five. Okay, so and she just fought and she subscribed. So like I seen that, you know what I'm saying. So like I said, okay, cool. And I'm new to the YouTube culture, and I've been wanting to do this for a long time. So like it was a lot of things that I'm seeing too as well because I do take notes, but I'm original. Even if we have the same type of title, just so we can get exposure, I'm not going to be saying it the same way you can say it because I can go deep into things, so I don't need to copy anybody and what they're saying. I might even
Mm-hmm.
give people credit in what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? If I have to use anything as a reference,
Mm-hmm.
so it
Yeah.
just it's different. It's different. Now it's not the most authentic place for some people to be.
In my journey, I couldn't even speak on some of the things that I see some of the people speaking on. So,
And you never
cause
want to do something you don't understand. Like
exactly.
even me, like I'm like I said, I'm all about balance. I believe that you can there's always a way to approach things and to be knowledgeable about things and be open about things, and then whatever you believe to be is what's going on, then that's how you perceive it and that's how it should be, and whatever your foundation is, you don't have to leave that behind. That's what people don't
Mm-hmm.
understand. I just feel like you can expand on those things, and that's where I get to, and I just feel that's how you become great. That's just how I see it. But don't ever pick. I don't advise anybody to pick up on anything that they're not sure about.
Yeah. So there's a lot of parts of it that I haven't really explored because I'm just like, nothing in my spirit has told me yet, like, go that
Hmm.
way. So
Exactly.
I'm very in tune with me and with all that.
If you're into I don't know if you're a music artist, but there's Kevin Gates actually made a video about that. He's from New Orleans, and he actually him and his wife put together a motion video that depicts that because they're really big on spirituality. So like they kind of have used their platform as as a way to depict things, and that was one of the videos they've made as well.
They put it on YouTube.
They put it on YouTube. Kevin Gates, he was on Everyday Struggle, and they'll tell you the name of it, but I only seen it one time, and it's very kind of dark, but it shows you the stuff that that they practice. It was going off of the old times as well.
When people use that voodoo or whatever, like, to do that stuff, they don't know, like, so you might get a whole man but you might lose your eye. I don't know, and I'm being extreme when I say that, but it comes back, like, I feel
It's
like,
dark energy.
yeah, it's dark energy, so like,
And people don't understand that. Like if you're a person who do light work and you're on the light side and you see the difference between light and dark and what you have to do dark stuff, it's more like everything we can do out here. it don't matter what you're doing, praying, anything, they're all the forms of, if they can be forms of manipulation, it's how what you're using it for, the good. You know what I'm saying? I think
Mm-hmm.
people kind of get that twisted, but when you're doing things like that that aren't really necessarily for the good and their personal gain, come on now, like nothing good comes from that. Nothing. Get out your own way. That was something that my grandfather used to say to me all the time. He actually, before he got sick, he would always we had a one phone call and he was able to say it. And I asked him to repeat it for me, and it was one of those things where I heard it at the last minute. He said, "Chris, get out your own way," because I was trying to graduate, get out of college, and he would always repeat that to me. I always remember that in the back of my head. But it was something sentimental to me. So it's something that somebody said, especially somebody to his nature, somebody I looked up to as a man. That was a quote that I'm gonna always remember. Get out your own way. I say it to
Mm.
myself all the time when I start overthinking, when I get conflict. I will leave people with that notion. If you struggle with any mental conflict, any inner conflict, get out your own way. Another one would be know who you are so the world won't tell you who you are. That's on the back of the book for 24 Ways to Discover Self-Enlightenment. Because the world's going to tell
Oh.
you who you are. They're going to tell you who they think you should be. There's a stigma of me, who I'm supposed to be at 25 years old after I left college. There was a stigma with me from where I grew up and where I should have been at a certain time. But what the world might tell you is not what you're supposed to truly be and who you are, and you have to figure that out.
Oh,
Those are the two quotes.
I love it. I enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you. I enjoyed the same.
That was fun talking with Christopher. I enjoyed the conversation and we talked about so many different things. I know that you guys really probably were like, they're all over the place, but it was all great information. And one of my takeaways that I have from this show, talking with Christopher, is that the importance of planting seeds. The fact that his mom bought books for him as gifts planted the seed in him. And that's where the author in him comes from. And also with his experiences that he had throughout college. But had she not planted that seed, we would not have author Christopher King II. Post Grad Depression is a book that if you're in college or if you've already graduated from college, you're about to graduate from college, I would suggest or recommend picking that book up. It could help with so many different things. I also love the fact that Chris was able to manifest the two books. Don't forget, you guys, 24 Ways to Self-Enlightenment is also Chris's other book, his very first book that he wrote. And journaling was something that I also took away because that's something I enjoy doing. I appreciate Christopher for being so open with us today here on Authentic Talks and sharing his journey with all of us. Check Christopher out on Instagram, YouTube, as well as all of the platforms that he mentioned. His books are available on Amazon for purchase and also a Kindle download. Please be sure to join us next week with Farrah Green. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Shanta with Authentic Talks.
I just want to leave with get out your own way. That was something that my grandfather used to say to me all the time. He actually, before he got sick, we had a one phone call and he was able to say it. I asked him to repeat it for me. And it was one of those things where I heard it at the last minute. He said, "Chris, get out your own way." Because I was trying to graduate, get out of college, and he would always repeat that to me. I always remember that in the back of my head. But it was something sentimental to me. So it's something that somebody said, especially somebody to his nature, somebody I looked up to as a man. That was a quote that I'm gonna always remember. Get out your own way.